What's going on, good people? Top Flight Films. How's everybody doing today? Walk with me. Quick video. The Democrats have drank the Kool-Aid once again. And we're going to chop it up real fast. I have been online, on social media, pretty much just, I'm not spreading hate, man. That's not what I do. I don't want to spread hate. But I have to bring certain things to the people's attention, to whoever is willing to listen. All right. And a lot of people are asleep. A lot of people are in denial, and a lot of people are in disbelief. But a lot of people drink the Democratic Kool-Aid. And what I mean by that is we saw the protests in the streets. What was it called? King Day or No King's Day or some shit like that. What somebody in the chat, if you watching this from the playback, tell me what No King's Day was about. Tell me what that protest was about. I'm not going to wait because nobody's really in the chat, but what was No King's Day protest about? That was the second protest, the second official protest that we've had since Donald Trump has been in office. Now, I want y'all to look at this real quick. When Joe Biden was in office for 4 years, how many of these strategic, planned, funded, orchestrated protests took place? How many? I'm just asking. Now, the Democrats, they orchestrated all of this shit. You understand? It's very clear to see the Democrats have orchestrated these protests, orchestrated this propaganda, all because they don't like Donald Trump. This shit has nothing to do with. This has nothing to do with laws being broken. This has nothing to do with civil rights being taken away. It has nothing to do with none of that. And the reason why I say that is because what we're seeing, right? What we're seeing is a lot of ICE raids. We're seeing a lot of, what's up, y'all? What's going on? Cool Wizard, what it do? Yo, Adri, what it do? Shout out to y'all. What we're seeing is we're seeing orchestrated Democratic protests, and the people are falling for it. The Democrats want you to do their dirty work. They are mad at Donald Trump. They want you to go out there and tear shit up. They want you to protest. Why? So it can look like he had a bad presidency. This is what is going on, y'all. And a lot of people are too slow to even see what's going on. You dig? And the thing about it is, a lot of us see through exactly what's going on. We see the play for what it is, and we're not falling for it. Now, when it comes to this ICE situation, right? When it comes to this ICE situation, I posted something yesterday. Let me tell y'all something, man. I am so glad Camala Harris did not get in office. I gotta tell y'all, man, the more I look on social media, specifically Facebook, the more I scroll down my Facebook, I am so happy Camala Harris did not get into office. And the reason being is because the people that voted for Kamala are freaking idiots. I'm sorry, dog. I got family that voted for Kamala. Okay? And whoever, everybody who is aligned with that agenda are freaking idiots. I'm not a Trumper. I'm not a Republican. But it's a viral post going around. And the post says, I'm going to paraphrase, I don't really care if people come over here illegally. This is what everybody's I'm going to say it again. There's a viral post going around with people, grown people, actually saying that they don't care if people come over here illegally. Now, that might not sound like much, but to me, let me say, one thing I've always done, for the most part, is move militant in my life. I've always moved. My father moved militant, and I've always had a militant way. If somebody come to the door, it's not a small thing when somebody comes to when somebody knocks on my door. It's not a small thing. So I've always had a militant mind state. So when people say they don't care who's over here legally, they just want to do this big kumbaya. Hey, come on, guys. Everybody come on over. I don't care. You don't have papers. We don't. Oh, you just murdered 3 people. Come on over here, man. Come on in. And me, as somebody who thinks strategically and thinks militantly, I'm thinking like, what? Are you fucking stupid? Y'all just going, y'all, these people really don't care if the border was wide open. They don't care. They're on my posts telling me that they don't care that people walk across the border with no documentation, illegally, criminals, sex traffickers, all that. They're actually proud. They are proud of the fact that they want people to come over here illegally. They called me a bigot. They called me a bigot because I said I'm not with that. You dig? So it's amazing to me. With every comment, with every post, I'm so glad that the 50% of Latinos voted for Donald Trump. 50% of Latino men. I want to give a huge shout out. I'm gonna get to the comments in a minute. I want to give a huge shout out to all 50% of the men in the Hispanic community that voted for Donald Trump. Thank y'all, because Kamala and Biden, they were about to send this country to hell, dog. Trump is not perfect. You dig? I'm not a big Trumper or Trump supporter, but that man is putting his foot down. He's doing what needs to be done. Salute to Donald Trump, fam. You dig? It's unbelievable the lack of common sense these people have. One of the ladies that commented, and every time they comment, right, they have just nonsensical rhetoric. They'll get on your post and they'll talk about God and they'll talk about feelings and emotions and do the right thing and we're on stolen land and we're all immigrants and all this crazy shit that's not true. So I asked the lady, I said, sweetheart, would you be okay with somebody walking in your house that you do not know? You don't know them from anywhere. You've never seen them before. They have no documentation. You don't know their name. You don't know their past history. Would you be okay if somebody walked through your door and you didn't know who they were? And of course, the first thing she tried to do was not answer the question. She came back with some other shit. So I had to ask, I said, is that a yes or a no? She said, that's an emphatic no. Then she goes on to tell me that comparison is apples and oranges. Now, family, y'all help me. Y'all just heard the analogy I gave. Is that apples and oranges or no? Now, the reason why it's the same exact thing, the reason why it's the same equivalency of somebody walking in your house, walking over the border and walking in your house, the reason why it's the same equivalency is because you're entering someone else's space. You understand? You're entering somebody else's residence, okay? And if you don't want somebody walking in your house undocumented, why would you want somebody walking in your country undocumented? Because eventually they're gonna walk in your goddamn house. Now, it has already happened. There's already been cases of illegal immigrants taking over people's home. Stop me when I'm lying, dog. So these people, let me tell you, these Democrats, they are in some sort of la-la land, dog. They are in some sort of utopia that they believe that nobody is a threat. They don't know how real shit is out here. They don't understand. I'm in Western Maryland, right? And the thing is, a lot of people in Western Maryland, where I'm at, there's not a lot of Hispanics out here. So they have no idea what the fuck they're talking about. They have no idea because they're sitting in their little lofty neighborhoods, me included. I'm sitting in my lofty neighborhood, but the difference is my old neighborhood. I'm from about 2 hours away from here. My old neighborhood looks like Little Mexico. And there's nothing wrong with that. We have nothing wrong with Mexican people, right? But the thing is, they feel the way they feel because their area still looks the same. Their area has not changed. It's predominantly white, peppered in with a little bit of black people, with a little bit of Hispanic people, like 2 or 3 Asians. So they're sitting in a place to where as though they haven't really grasped the concept of what the fuck is really going on because they're sitting in this little bubble. You understand? Let me get to these comments real quick, man. Yeah, send that 50. I got you. Send that 50. Shout out to Killer 410. Sir Moorgoat says they eating the pets, bro. I'm an Aussie. This U.S. is nutty. The rest of the world, man. Let me tell you, man. And I touched on a lot of broadcasts that I done a while back. I touched on the eating animals thing. And listen, I'm not saying this to be an asshole, but it's a known fact that in a lot of these countries, people eat animals, dog. They eat cats, dogs, and rats. I'm not saying it to be disrespectful. This is just a fact. So you mean to tell me that if some people do it where they live in their homeland and they end up over here, they might not have much, and what is going to stop them from eating cat, dog, and rat? In Asia, in certain parts of Asia, rat is a delicacy. Do y'all know that? So when people say they're serving us rat at the carryout, that's not true because they pay extra. You got to pay extra for rat in certain areas. So when people say, "Oh, why are you being racist?" when you say that people are eating animals? No, this is what happens. People do sacrifices and they eat dogs and animals and cats. Why is that so far-fetched? And that goes back to my point about these Democrats. They're being fed propaganda. They're being lied to because the Democrats have an agenda. They want to flood the U.S. with immigrants all over the place. You dig? To get their numbers up. Let me get back to these comments. Lynn says, don't eat pets. Aaron Mew says, conform to where they are, not they come from to the people. I don't know what that means. James Smith says, Jim is out and I don't owe anyone anything. Joel Sweeney says, that's the rat on a stick in Chinese buffet. Willis Williams says, Democrat, Republican, they are the same. Kinda, sorta, but not really. Because the thing is, in certain ways they're the same, but as you see, the Democrats are not going as hard as Donald Trump, right? They're not going as hard as Donald Trump. Donald Trump, did y'all just see that he just lifted the pause? He put a pause on running down on the farmers. He just lifted that pause. It's full-fledged. It's up once again. It's up once again. You understand? No, let me tell you, the people who are delusional, let me tell you who the delusional people are. The delusional people are the people who think it's okay for people to just walk across the border over here to the US of A. Y'all are delusional, okay? Now, I have nothing against other cultures and groups, but everybody got to come through here the right way. Listen, if I walk down my street, if I get in my car and drive down the street and I don't have my license, I'm going to get a ticket. If I don't have a license at all, I can probably go to jail. You understand? I got to have documentation. U.S. citizens have to have documentation to take a shit, damn near. You want some cigarettes? Documentation. You want to get a hotel room? Documentation. You want to go get money from the Western Union? Your money? You want to get your money from the bank? You want to go get your money from the bank, you better have some documentation. But yet and still, why do we feel like these other groups are so special that they get to just come over here and do what the fuck they want? And then not only that, they get benefits and perks on top of that. But us as Americans, the ones that pay taxes here, right? The ones whose ancestors built this shit, right? We got to adhere to the laws, but all these other people don't have to adhere to the law. Make it make sense, man. Black Air Force Energy says, just go to San Francisco. They'll let you shit in the middle of the street there. Y'all hit the subscribe button, man. Hit the like button for me, dog. Get my likes up for me if y'all don't mind. I don't really be tripping off YouTube. I like to come out here and just get things off my chest and connect with the people. You understand? But I do want my likes up, man. So shout out to everybody for being in the building. Kevin says Rosa Parks broke the law. Let's get into this shit. I'm glad you said that. Let's get into this comparison, right? Let's get into this comparison. Stop using my ancestors to compare to this shit. I'm really getting sick of it. Stop using my ancestors, right? People who were here from the very beginning, right? Who aren't immigrants, who didn't just walk over border. Stop using them to try to compare it to people walking over here and seeking resources and seeking